Hi, this is Stephan from SK Mouthpieces in New York City. If you follow my channel, you'll know that I make a lot of videos about refacing mouthpieces, but I also make mouthpieces. So in this video today, I'd like to talk about one of the mouthpieces that I make. It's the Modus. It's a mouthpiece for alto saxophone. First, if you've not yet subscribed to my channel and you like the content, please hit the subscribe button. And also, if you like this particular video, please give me a thumbs up. So I've gotten a lot of really great feedback on these mouthpieces. My favorite one is probably the one from the great New York City saxophone player, Peter Hess. He writes, "I've played just about everything under the sun in the last 30 years, and this one had me put everything else back in the drawer." So I also get a lot of questions about these mouthpieces, and I'd like to go over two of the most frequently asked questions today. So the most common question that I get is this mouthpiece modeled after a vintage mouthpiece? And while there are a lot of mouthpiece makers out there now that do make mouthpieces that are replicas or modeled after vintage mouthpieces, this mouthpiece wasn't intended to be a replica of anything vintage. I'm all for it. I think it's a really great thing that there are people that are making these mouthpieces that are modern replicas of vintage mouthpieces, because the vintage mouthpieces can be so expensive and you don't always know what it is that you're getting when you're buying a vintage mouthpiece. It may not play that great. So like I said, this mouthpiece is not really intended to be a replica of a vintage mouthpiece, but there are some similarities that I put into the design on purpose. So the outside design of the mouthpiece, ergonomically where it fits into the mouth, is very similar to a vintage Meyer mouthpiece, and that was on purpose. I wanted this mouthpiece to be something that's easy to switch to for somebody who plays a Meyer mouthpiece already, either as a doubling mouthpiece that we want to be able to switch from one to the other, or just switch entirely. So on the inside, the sidewalls are a little scooped out, but they're not as scooped out as you would find on a vintage Meyer mouthpiece, for example. And the chamber is also shaped differently. And all of these things has contributed to this mouthpiece being more powerful and easier to play in tune. So the second question, is this a bright, dark mouthpiece? How would you describe the sound? So this is a little bit of a tricky question because it's really hard to describe sound. So I've added some sound at the end of this video. I hope you'll stick around and actually hear the mouthpiece. So that's it for the video today. I really appreciate you guys watching. Thank you so much for taking your time. I'll see you in the next one. Have any questions that you think that I would be able to answer that are mouthpiece related, please post a comment in the field below. I'll either create another video about it or I'll try to answer as well as I can in the comments.